Welcome back to the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, where we talk manhood, tell stories, and discuss the stuff that matters to us one sip at a time. Good afternoon, Kevin.
Good afternoon, Matt.
It is afternoon, right? Yeah. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. You see all the decorations in the neighborhood coming in? That one street was wild last night. They had all their fire pits out, brought their patio furniture from the back to the front. I saw one person had a popcorn maker up there.
On the day after, all I could think while I was driving down the street is, away from me, Satan.
Yeah.
Looks worse during the day than at night.
Mm-hmm. I was at my parents' last night. We handed out candy. We probably had like 12 kids come by total.
Yeah, we had the same.
It wasn't much at all.
Yeah, I was at my mom's, and it was about the same. If I was at my house, I would have had 6 kids the whole night.
I was giving out handfuls of candy to every kid that came up. Try to get rid of it.
There is something to say about that, because the old school community, we talked about it last night at my mom's house. The old school community when it comes to Halloween just doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And there was an article I read this morning about the so-called Halloween destination, that it is no longer you trick-or-treat or participate in your own neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because of social media, you go where everyone talks about this is the hot neighborhood to go to.
Oh, okay.
And that's where everybody takes all their kids and dumps them off and goes in that neighborhood.
Huh.
Because that's where they're going to get the most participation.
Oh.
And, you know, we were talking about growing up in my neighborhood, you go walking around trick-or-treating, there was a police officer who, she was female, and there were 2 of them. One guy would drive, and then the female was in there, and she had her mic for the intercom, and she was making laughs and cackles like a witch, and saying happy Halloween and be safe, and then all the kids can come out to the car as they're going down the road, and they'll give them candy as well.
Huh. Okay.
Back when the police were part of our community.
Yeah.
They aren't anymore.
No, definitely not.
Unfortunately.
Did you get the fire pit out? Did you sit by the fire last night while you're doing things down?
We watched the movie The Werewolf.
Oh,
the old Lon Chaney movie.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's a good one. We watched Sixth Sense. We hadn't watched that in a long time. Just came across it and I was like, "Ooh, let's go ahead and watch this." Then we started watching The Dirty Dozen with Dad.
Good transition.
Yeah, that was fun. So you brought the bourbon today, or not bourbon? It's a whiskey.
It's American single malt whiskey.
Single malt whiskey. What is it? What did you bring? What have you brought into my home?
Well, officially, this is Rogue Spirits Dead Guy Whiskey. Ocean aged in oak barrels for at least 2 years. Comes out of Oregon. Rogue Spirits is actually a beer company. Been around since 1988, and they do really well with all their beer. Matter of fact, before we drank this, we found out that this particular malt whiskey is made from the malted barley that they use to make their Dead Guy Ale. So before we tried the whiskey, we drank some of the Dead Guy Ale. What did you think of the Dead Guy Ale?
I think it's good. It reminded me of Killian's Irish Red lager. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like a pale ale.
Kind of
a little bit above that, but
hoppy, bitter. Basil.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. But then we got to the malted whiskey.
And you claim that this is popular in Oregon, apparently.
Yeah, apparently it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's some weirdos up there.
The one we're drinking was bottled in 2018. This particular bottle design that I'm presenting to you today is not even what they use today. The bottle's completely different.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It is a cool bottle.
The cap is still the same. The topper.
Is that a black rubber cork?
It is. With the Dead Guy emblem on top of the...
Yeah, the skeleton and holding the beer. That's pretty neat.
I mean, it's pretty interesting on what they do to make it. They grow their own grain.
Oh, okay.
They make their own malted barley. They grow their own wood, manufacture their own barrels.
Wow.
and they distill it and age it themselves.
And
So it's all in-house. And, don't let them fool you when it says ocean aged, because it's not actually ocean aged like you think of Jefferson's where they stick it on a boat.
Right.
It's not that at all. It actually sits in a building that is 50 yards from the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, okay.
And they can open and close the doors.
So kind of like Scotch, if they have the, what do they call it, Speyside? And that right next to the ocean?
Yeah. And so it allows the different pressures of the ocean and the winds to go through the building.
Salty air.
And I think this is where they fail a little bit because it's such a standard climate up there. It doesn't change much, and it's kind of a cooler temperature that the Angels share that, everybody knows about, where the Angels evaporates a little bit. It doesn't so much out of this barrel because of the lower climate or temperatures. And I think because they're not giving the Angel their share, we're getting the flavor profile we're getting.
Yeah, this is, when 50 yards from the ocean, I immediately thought of briny, the word briny. And that, I was like, I think that might be what I'm smelling. But I wrote down funky gym shoes.
I wrote down dirty laundry. That's exactly what it smells like. It's freaking disgusting. Oof. And I mean, I'm not pulling anything out of it.
No, like a teenage boy's closet.
Maybe it's salted dirty laundry.
Yeah.
To keep the nastiness down.
I mean, like I said, this is offensive. That's the word that comes when I smell it. Like, oh, I don't want to put this in my mouth.
Yeah. And then you described it perfectly when we tasted it. What?
I said it tastes like tuna.
Canned tuna.
Canned tuna. It's really gross.
It is.
And I'm not going to take another drink right now. I'm going to wait. I'll drink the beer.
I did a little bit just to see. It's still the same.
Yeah.
The finish is absolutely nothing.
Nope.
Maybe a little bit of oak.
There is some sort of flavor that lingers.
Yeah, I can.
But I don't know what it is.
Nothing near what you would think a single malt whiskey would taste like. Nothing.
Do you think maybe the bottle, it's just a bad bottle?
No. There's nothing that they can make
no
it bad.
Cork. Yeah.
Yeah. It was sealed. It's been stored properly. That's just it.
Oof. Did you look at any other reviews online of this?
Yeah.
Was it pretty much the same reaction?
If you looked on Reddit, those guys were going to town on them.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
nobody complained about the beer.
Right.
Unless you're from Oregon, wherever this distillery is in Oregon on the coast.
Yeah, Newport, Oregon.
They like it.
They like the whiskey, huh?
Yeah. That's because they don't
Weirdos,
think they've had anything good.
They're too far from Kentucky. Let's see, Newport, Oregon.
I mean, the color looks like, it's very light. It's like straw.
Yeah, that's what I put, straw.
It's 80 proof, so it's the minimum. Well, I can't say that it's the minimum because I'm talking about a whiskey, and I don't really know the requirements on a single malt whiskey.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you today. I'm not going to look them up.
So this is southwest of Portland, and it is right on the ocean. And they have Oregon Coast Aquarium.
It's repulsive.
It is. It's not good, man. It's really not. I can't believe that they would put this in a bottle and try to sell it. Or maybe they had no choice. They're like, we spent all the money on the grains and the wood and making our own barrels, and we got to do something.
Well, they're not wasting it. I'll give them that much.
Yeah.
It wins some kind of award. I don't know. Best Dirty Laundry Award. I don't know.
Yeah, did it just say, it says award winning, but it doesn't say what kind of award it was?
Well, if you go to the website or their website, they do have a list of, a half a dozen different awards. And I think the most recent one was 2018 or 2020.
Dude, they have to have some money because there's a Rogue Spirits Distillery, Rogue Ales and Spirits, an informal eatery, and Rogue Spirits Sunset Bar. And it is not on the ocean. It's like in the bay, in the Yaquina Bay.
Well,
but they got a lot of real estate here, so they must have some money.
Well, like I said, they've been around since 1988. They're one of the more successful
beer companies, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they're well enough that I went to Total Wine here in town and picked up the ale.
Yeah,
the beer.
I want to.
They sold like 4 different kinds of their ale. at Total Wine here.
I feel like I've had their beer before. Not this particular one, but just the name sounds familiar.
It does.
The beer's really good. I like it.
Yeah.
Stick to beer, guys.
Yeah.
So, despite the Halloween night, what else you get into this week?
Sorry, I was drinking the beer. Nothing. I didn't do nothing this week.
Yeah, we worked. It was a long week.
Yeah, I mean, work was it.
Yeah. Our last podcast kicked off for us, for you and I, ongoing conversation throughout the week about, the topic of the last show. And it was just kind of continued on. We're like, man, we probably have like 4 other shows worth of topics to talk about.
Yeah, it kind of dragged on when we were listing out, are you living or preparing to live? That really kind of dragged us out throughout this week.
Yeah. The who are you question.
Yeah, that caught us off guard.
Tell me who you are.
I still can't answer that question.
Really?
In one sentence.
No. I actually wrote, like I said, I journaled a little bit, just put my thoughts down on paper, and I filled 2.5 pages of thoughts about it. Just kind of rambled and put it out there just so I could read it over and kind of get my thoughts in order. And then I think it was Tuesday, you asked me the question of if you knew you only had a year to live, what would you do with your time left? And my answer popped into my head quickly. But how would I accomplish that immediately followed, and that really put me on a mental journey of thinking about, what would I do if I knew I had a year left to live. I know I would want to spend as much time as possible with my wife and children.
That's how most of us would answer that question.
Yeah. And then how would I make that happen? How could I do that and make that happen? Well, I'm going to start right today, first of all, and
well, that was the purpose of the question.
Yeah.
The purpose of the question wasn't really, if you had a year to live, what would you do, or how would you live? Mm-hmm. The purpose of the question was for you to answer it, but really to understand that it's not about not having a single year to live, but where are you right now in your life, and how are you going to prepare for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And that's really where we were trying to go with that question.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to dig deeper into it.
Right. So I actually started sitting down, looking at my future, like my retirement. Like, do I want to retire one day? If I do, how old do I want to be when I retire? What am I going to do with my time after I retire? Or if I don't retire, if I just keep working, 'cause I don't have a manual labor job anymore.
Yeah.
I could do my job until I'm 70, 75.
When do you want to retire?
Right. And so my answer to the question about spending as much time as possible with my family kind of says, I think I might want to retire one day and have a good quality of life and be able to enjoy my time with my family. Probably a lot sooner than 70.
Well, yeah, because we started to try to define quality of life.
Right.
Our body's in decline right now, regardless of what anybody thinks. You can
Sure.
be as healthy as you think you are. Your body's still in decline. It can't maintain the rigor that it did at one time.
Right.
I mean, in short bursts it can. And there are people who are outside of the norm when it comes to that. They can still run the marathon and do these 100-milers and things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are outliers in the extreme.
That's not a normal existence.
No.
And I'm normal.
Yeah. So we were talking about, okay, what kind of fitness level do we want to be at? Like I would like to be able to go hiking with my family at the national parks. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to wrestle with my kids every once in a while. Okay. So I'm not going to be joining a CrossFit gym trying to lift 300 pounds over my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if I have 6-pack abs. My wife thinks I'm the best looking man on the face of the earth. I don't need to try to, you know.
Right. For me, it's in this stage of my life, it's all about mimicking life circumstance. Can I get up from the floor? Can I get out of a chair without leaning over and having to push up with my arms?
Mm-hmm.
Can I carry, a case of water
from the lawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, balance on a ladder.
Right.
Some people have struggle with that.
Can I go up and down steps?
Mm-hmm.
And not have to take a break as soon as I get up. I mean, that's how, you got to mirror what your life is. If your life is that kind of life, then that's all you need to be working on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't spend 4 hours a day in the gym to try to sculpt a bodybuilder's physique.
And you don't even need that much to have the testosterone in your body to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
In order to maintain muscle mass. It doesn't require 4 hours.
No.
There's studies coming out now. It used to be 8 to 10,000 steps a day, in which you needed to maintain every day to help maintain, heart health, that kind of thing. And there was a study that came out last month that said the real number for steps is only 7,000. So, 7,000 steps is easy. I'm still hitting anywhere from 10 to 12 a day, only because of the job I have. But 7,000 steps is easy to do to maintain normal health. And those are things we need to, be paying attention to.
Yeah, I think a good part of it, too, is not stressing out over the number. Just move and be active.
Right.
I do, my watch tracks all my steps, and I'll check it just every once in a while just because I'm curious. But
right now, my watch, I'm only using it now to track sleep.
Okay.
I don't use it for workouts anymore, anything like that.
Yeah.
It measures my steps, and I'll look at it. But I'm getting to a point where I don't really need to wear the watch, and I'm working towards that. Like, why do I need to track all those numbers? I can just take that off. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So don't burden my head tracking numbers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, plus I'm tired of the white wristband when I take it off.
Oh, yeah. I got a crazy tan line.
Yeah.
So those questions of who am I really? If I only had a year left to live, what would I do with my time? If we were able to sit and think about that sort of stuff when you're 25, think of what you could do in your life. It would be incredible. But I really don't know. Like, I know I wasn't thinking about that stuff when I was 25.
Mm-hmm.
I was just worried, like, hey, who's buying the beer for this weekend and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I actually sat down and started doing a financial plan, based off my income now and how much money do I need to, retire. What's the number?
How old were you when you first got married?
I was 21.
Okay. Because I was married at 23.
Okay.
And I had a little bit more forward-thinking perspective, only because I was married.
Mm.
Being out on your own, having a house, insurance, the fundamentals.
Right.
But it really didn't go much farther than that.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to be married yet, but we were. I wasn't mature enough yet, but it was like I jumped right into the situation, and we were more on survival mode from the get-go, and so we were just focused. We had like blinders on and just trying to pay bills and get food on the table, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but if we took the basic question, if I had a year to live, what would I do? Or would I do anything different?
Yeah.
And that some of the things that came to mind right away was if I had any strained relationships with anyone, it's time to mend them. Or, so my thoughts also went, do I really need to mend a relationship with this person, or should I just forgive myself for whatever that was and just move on?
Okay.
So I thought a little bit about that. Thought some about, is there something to see or do And, there wasn't a lot there, really.
Yeah.
If I had a year to live, why do I want to go see a pyramid?
Yeah, I don't think I'd be taking my last breath saying, oh, man, I wish I would have went to Scotland.
They're really, the notion of the bucket list really didn't come to mind for me.
Nope.
As I thought about this.
Yeah, for me, it was all about relationships.
Yeah, it was. And even seeking, whether I didn't, but I do, so seeking a stronger relationship with God than I have right now.
Right, yeah.
And family. I mean, that was it. There was nothing else that hit my brain.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I was thinking, spend as much time, the only legacy I want to leave is my children growing up having a relationship with Christ and them being strong in their faith, knowing that I'm in heaven and everything's okay and they're going to be fine. And then making sure that my wife doesn't have to, go get a job when she's 60 years old. I started thinking about that. Like, if I die when I'm 75, that means Caitlin's 65. And that, like, would she be able to live? Would she have to go to Walmart and be a greeter?
Well, I think in today's world, if nothing changed from today to then, which we all know things are going to change and continue to, but if nothing changed at all, at 65, you got Medicare, she's going to have your Social Security, and
yeah, so I was thinking pay off debt.
Yeah.
That's really my thoughts were. What do I have to do to pay off debt and stay out of debt?
Financially, that's where I went to as well.
Yeah. In the Bible, it says the debtor is slave to the lender. So we need to get out of that slavery and be free, have some freedom. And I've been debt free before, and it's a great feeling. And then I had to go back into debt. Now we have a new mortgage, stuff like that. Stuff we had to buy, buy some stuff for the house. Had to pay for a dang HVAC unit, and
nowhere in the Bible does it say there's such a thing as good debt. Nowhere.
No, I cringe so hard when I hear people talk about good debt or leveraging debt.
So even when we, buying a home, everyone says that's the only debt you should have, right? That's most of my financial people say that's good debt. You have your home, and there's plenty of studies out there that says buying a home is one of the worst decisions you can ever make. You should rent your whole life and put all that money somewhere else. I've seen that too.
Well, I do know that a lot of wealthy people lease. So anything that's will depreciate in value, they lease it. Like cars, stuff like that. But they own property because it appreciates in value. But I really feel like we're reaching a point with, especially houses, we're at like peak value level right now. It feels like I don't know how housing prices can go any higher than what they are. That this area where I grew up, a house would have cost $110,000 to $120,000 back in 2000, maybe 2000 to 2005.
Yep.
Now we're $450,000. The same house.
Right. So would you say the only thing driving that train are the county assessors driving around going, your house is now worth this, and so you're going to pay this amount in your personal property tax?
It could be. It
never goes down.
No, never goes down. And I don't know what the percentage is. What do you think the ratio is of 2 income to 1 income households? Like, how many 2 income households do you think are in this area?
I would think most of them now are 2 income.
It's got to be over 90%, right?
At least.
So you have 2 income earners, and they'll say, oh, $400,000, we can afford that. And people are willing to pay it. So the housing prices are going to stay high as long as people are willing to pay it. That's really all it is, supply and demand. Yeah, of course, and taxes are not going to go down. They'll never. They might tell you you're getting a tax cut, but they're going to get it somehow, some way.
Yeah. Dang taxes.
Yeah. We'll save that for our 4th of July show next year. We'll talk about taxation again.
I might do that at the end of the year when all the assessments come out.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that.
We'll do a line-by-line assessment.
I don't even understand how the hell they do that. They literally just drive by or they pick a group of houses and be like, oh, yeah, this is about what they're worth.
And they look at home sales around your neighborhood.
Okay.
They're looking at, I know that they look at Google Earth.
Yeah.
For pictures. They're looking at Zillow.
Yeah. That's gross, man. Anyway, going back to the lighter side of this conversation, I had a long conversation with my wife after I was, she noticed one night I was just not really talking too much. I was really in my head and thinking really hard. And she noticed, she thought that something was wrong. I said, no, nothing's wrong. I'm just a little tired and I got a lot on my mind. And I did the total man move. I'm fine. I'm just a little tired. No big deal. Right. And there wasn't anything worrisome about my thoughts. I just had a lot on my mind and I was putting it in order.
You're trying to work it out.
Things were falling into place and I didn't want to interrupt my thoughts. So finally I was on a long drive down to our other location in the morning and we talked for like 45 minutes on the phone while I was driving. And I just told her, the other night, this is what I was thinking. And I told her about our conversation that we've been having throughout the week and how it triggered a lot of other thoughts, like you said, like your relationship with God. I had the same thoughts. I had my relationship with my father, with my dad, who won't be here much longer, which was a strained relationship. And I thought about all that stuff. And then I thought my wife, like, why wouldn't I share this with my wife? She's my number one partner. She's my best friend on this planet. And we are one. So I told her all about that stuff. And she was just really thankful. She's just so thankful that I'm thinking about that. And I think about her future when I'm gone, or our future together. And really the conclusion I came to is I want to spend as much time with my family as I can now. And how can I make that happen? Also need to spend time with my friends, doing guy stuff, like going on our hikes or bike rides and stuff like that. But anything else that distracts me from relationships, I'm not really interested in. I'm not going to sit and play video games all day or, selfish time at the gym just so I can look better. I'm going to stay fit, though, because that's part of taking care of my family and being able to spend time with them. And then the financial side, I was like, dude, I don't even have a life insurance policy. I'm the only income earner in my family, and I don't have a life insurance policy. How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, that's a mistake I made as well. I didn't have one, and then when I got my cancer, now I can't get one.
Oh boy.
I could.
Yeah, you're gonna pay out the nose.
Really expensive.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a life lesson that if you are married, you have children, you need to have a life insurance policy.
Yeah. The younger you are, the cheaper it is, and you can get locked in on that rate. And it's like, I think for me, 46 years old, I was looking at term life insurance for, I think it was like $1 million policy. It was like $96 a month, something like that.
Yeah, so the opposite, not being able to qualify for life insurance is, okay, so what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of life insurance, I'm ramping up as much as I can, retirement or investments.
Mm-hmm.
So that way there's something left over that would mimic what life insurance will provide.
Yeah. And I swear the number one thing you could do is get out of debt. There is nothing better in my opinion, because if you leave this planet, leave this earth, and you leave your family with no debt hanging over them, they're already set up for success.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Caitlin talked about, like, well, do we want to leave money for the kids after we go? And I was like, no, not really. I don't.
Right.
Like, I don't want to. That's they should be able to take care of themselves. That we need to invest in their education and their upbringing so they will be self-sufficient and not waiting for dad to die to get a check. But I did talk about, I would be willing to help them before we die, of like, to help them live debt free. You know, if we can help them put a good down payment on a house to where their mortgage payment isn't insane or something like that, I think that would be a great gift. And giving to the church is something that I really thought about this week too. Like, I want to give to my church and help with the missions and maintenance of the building that we go to worship in and stuff like that. But I have debt. So I'm like, should I be giving to the church while have this debt that I need to pay off? So I'm praying about that. And what would God want me to do? And I think I came to the conclusion, I'm going to maximize as much money as I can to get rid of debt.
Right.
You know, I have a truck payment. That's a 5-year truck payment. And I'm like 6 months in to a 5-year truck payment. And I want to pay it off by the end of next year. That's my goal. And maintain the vehicle so I can keep driving it for as long as possible.
Yeah, I mean, the overall life outlook was one that was really working through my head. You know, and my job evaluation came into play. Not the fact that, you know, am I going to look for a different job or something like that?
Right.
Not that question. The question was, how long am I going to work? Do I need the income to really live out the life that I'm looking forward to? And what do I need to do? You know, like you said, debt being number one. But how hard do I want to work? Yeah. How hard do I need to work? How long do I have to work? In what capacity do I need to be working? And am I going to lose my mind if I quit working? Should I go work part-time somewhere? Should I be a consultant? Should I take a hobby and turn that into a side hustle of some way? Do I need to do any of that?
Right.
You know, am I just going to add more work and stress to me trying to do it? And no longer is it fun. I mean, I don't know that a lot of people even think along these lines. And
like we talked last, they're sleepwalking through life.
Yeah.
They just punch a clock. They
try to avoid those discussions with themselves.
Yeah. It's scary too. If you're looking towards the future and like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm not in a position right now to even consider retiring one day.
Right.
That's scary.
So then the question comes back to you is, what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it? Yeah. You have to take stock of your tools that you have right now. And what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, because that's where, are you living or preparing to live? And you need to get moving away from preparing to living.
Just live, man. Yeah.
And put all the preparing in the back corner somewhere once you set that up. And, you know, some of it was my Army head came back into play a little bit because we were trained right from day one, you know, in basic training all the way up, all the way until you got out, which was we were never taught to sit still. We were always taught to move forward under fire.
Right.
Always move forward. Keep going, keep doing
if you
something.
Find yourself in an ambush, attack.
Right. And so immediately the 3-second rush came to my head, what we were trained on, which is where you got to, you know, you're working with a buddy and you move forward and you get down and you provide support and, you know, let him move forward.
Yeah.
And we used to have to yell it out loud because that's how you got your 3 seconds. You yelled, I'm up, and you got up, and you yelled, I'm moving as you're running, and then you yelled, I'm down as you're flopping onto the ground.
Yeah.
And that's your 3 seconds. I'm up, I'm moving, I'm down.
And there's a thing, bounding overwatch. So you would say, you know, you yell out, cover me while I move. The guy yells back, I got you covered. Moving, and then you would tell him set or down, and then he would yell out, cover me while I move. You say, I got you covered. So there's that communication. Your buddies, you're watching each other's back, but you're still advancing. You're moving. The ambush response is desperation. Like you're trying to overcome firepower. You're trying to gain fire superiority, and you're rushing towards the guns.
Right. And everything that we just now said, these last couple sentences, everything was, you're not going to do it alone.
No.
If you think you're going to be a one-man band and be successful, move out through life, you're going to have a hard life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a tough road. What is that? Tough row to hoe.
Yeah, that support's going to come from your spouse, if you're married. That support's going to come from a close friend who is going to be your advocate and also your accountability partner.
Yeah.
And help you to move forward in life. It could be any number of things. That's going to get a mentor. If you're, which I highly suggest and recommend that everybody go find a mentor.
Yeah.
Someone that in your surroundings you come in contact with where if the thought in your head is, wow, I really want to understand how he is or she is where he is, and I would like to achieve what he's doing or have the attitude or personality he has. The only way you're going to know that is to take a leap forward, take that risk, and walk up to that person and introduce yourself and establish a relationship.
I think you and I had a conversation my first week I was working with you. You kind of asked me, like, what are you looking for in this dynamic of, you're my boss. And I said, I'm looking for more of a mentor type of relationship, because I was coming from the first responder world, and now I'm working in the business world more. It's not blue collar anymore. I still get dirty and muddy though. It's not, I'm not wearing a suit to work every day.
Yesterday's a great example of mud. Some mud.
Yeah, or I go out in the rain and get rainwater samples, walking through knee-deep mud. But that's what I asked you. I'm looking for a mentor, and I think we had that dynamic, and it turned into a friendship. But I still will ask you, your advice or get your guidance on some things. And hey, what do you think about this? And how did I do? What do I need? And you'll give me critique when I teach classes. You'll give me some critiques, and I really appreciate it. Because if I didn't get that, I'm a one-man show at work. I don't have anybody that works for me. I don't have a team that I lead. I just kind of like a mother hen over everybody, Right.
Well, we do this podcast together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this podcast is a good example of that.
Yeah, this is good accountability, because we're putting stuff out there into the world, and we're very conscious of not being hypocrites about it. And, actually walking what we say we're going to do, doing what we're going to say we're going to do.
Yep.
And hopefully our listeners would hold us accountable. That would be great. You can comment on our Facebook page or email us at showmemk@gmail.com.
I will be shocked on the first day that we get a comment on one of our YouTube episodes.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I don't know how I guess we have to do videos on YouTube, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to. I started making those AI videos. I mean, that one I made, there's like your words, but some construction worker smoking a cigarette saying that was pretty funny. But we could put those on YouTube. What else you got? Like, what other thoughts passed through your mind this week?
Well, I mean, just still on the doing part, if you're going to put yourself out there and do something, number one, you got to take a risk. You got to be willing to do it. Don't be like Nike and the change of their promotions, and instead of saying just do it, now they're promoting why do it.
Yeah.
Which
that is a total flop.
Horrible. Don't capitalize on the mentality of our society today. You should be capitalizing on improving the mentality of our society today.
Yeah. So I read that article. You shared it with me, and the guy who wrote the article, immediately I was like, this dude has to be a baby boomer. Like his attitude, like the way he was just writing, I was like, this guy's got it. But no, he's our age. Psychologist, I think, or psychiatrist, I don't know. Oh, excuse me, the beer got me. And I was like, I think they're trying to say more of like, know your why. Like, just do it, but you need to understand why you're just going to do it. And then the more I talked about it, I was like, yeah, they should have never added this at all. It should be, the commercial should be just do it. And you could have showed a kid getting up out of bed at 4:30 in the morning, strapping on his running shoes, saying, why am I doing this every day? And then go to him holding a trophy of winning a race. This is why.
Right.
Because for victory, to better myself, to, be a champion.
I knew that the Why Do It campaign was a flop when the man who wrote the article interviewed the spokesperson for Nike, and the spokesperson for Nike could not explain what the slogan was.
No.
It was classic Kamala Harris word salad. And I'm going, there you go. See, they can't even understand their own concept of why do it.
It was a spokeswoman, not a spokesman. All right. Do we want to start that conversation?
It was all about feelings.
It was.
We really got, feelings are what's getting us in trouble. Because it's not about feelings.
No.
My purpose is never going to be about how I feel. Because I'm going to have bad days. If I have bad days, then my purpose will never be fulfilled.
Okay.
Because I'm falling apart on my feelings.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, without regard to your feelings, keep moving forward. You're going to have a hard day. You're going to get wet. You're going to have pain, setbacks.
Yeah.
People are going to say no to you. That is all part of the strength of getting stronger and moving forward in your life and being successful.
Yeah,
if you avoid all that, if you give everybody a trophy, failure. If you give everybody an A, failure. Everybody passes. Well, really, how do you understand when something doesn't work right? This is the problem with college kids that were coming into the workforce, and people in the workforce are saying, no, that's not how you do it. Yeah. No, you didn't do it right. No, and they're having complete mental breakdowns.
Yeah.
And now they got these odd clubs out there, screaming clubs, where everybody gets together and just screams. Really?
Wow.
To me, that's completely selfish as well.
Do you think that started with equal opportunity, and then that equal opportunity turned into equality of outcome? Like everybody should have the same opportunity to compete, and you should have the same opportunity for a job, not based off of your race or gender or anything like that. Everybody has the same opportunity. That doesn't mean everybody gets hired for the job, and that doesn't mean everybody wins a basketball game or a soccer game, but you have the opportunity to compete.
Competition.
Equality of outcome is death. Like, that's a death of a society.
Yeah.
It's not possible. Like, look at China, communist China. It's the disparity of income in a communist country, even though they're kind of a weird communist capitalist hybrid now. It's weird, man.
Or having a living wage. A living wage is the same thing. If you give everybody $50,000,
right? Guess what? Guess what prices do?
and nothing changes.
Or what about the what do they call it? The basic income,
right?
Universal basic income, UBI. They would say, well, if we pay everybody universal basic income, all of their basic needs will be met, and then that'll free them up to pursue careers or jobs or what that they really would love to do, that they're passionate about.
If you have 10 people on an assembly line doing the exact same thing, they all get paid the same amount of money regardless of what they do. Mm-hmm. It's not about production. It's about having the job and getting the same income. Right. This is a fact in Bosnia, and I know that because I talked to my Bosnian friends. Mm-hmm. And so they're all on an assembly line. One person on the assembly line decides that, you know what, he's not going to work as fast as the other guys. Mm-hmm. He slows down. He's not doing anything wrong.
Right.
He's still getting paid the same amount. So what happens to the other 9?
I'm going to slow down too.
I slow down as well. I'm going to go on a smoke break. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do this. It's still going to be there when I get back. And so everything slows down.
Yep.
And that's exactly what the universal basic income is going to do.
But if you introduce performance bonuses on that assembly line, saying if you produce X amount of parts per hour for your 8-hour shift, we'll pay you a performance bonus over top of your salary. Then you have people working hard. Or some people might say, no, I'm satisfied with my hourly wage.
Or they go to court and say, you're not doing the equality of output because they're not doing a performance. And so because I'm incapable,
but
my hands aren't as coordinated as his. I'm left-handed, not right-handed.
The other
and you
side
give me
of
a right-handed tool
is if you're pushing production companies, CEOs, like managers of companies need to stop with like, oh, look, the standard is 10 units per hour. But once we introduce the performance bonus, now they're doing 15 an hour. So guess what? The minimum standard is 15 an hour now. And then you're trying to, I guess, maximize output, and that's the, what do we call it? End stage capitalism, where we talked about that. Like the CEOs nowadays are making 300 times their line workers, and where 20 years ago it was only like maybe 30 times.
Yeah.
Doctors are making 40 times more than nurses now, when it used to be 5. Just this weird, like the middle income, the medium, the middle is getting stretched and just destroyed. So you have super low income and super high income. There's not really it's very rare to be a middle income.
Well, it was all taken away. The elimination of the pension programs that all the companies used to have, in which the employee paid nothing. That was all part of, the loyalty to the company. You stayed with that company.
Right.
You retired, you ended up getting a pension. That was all destroyed when they implemented the 401k.
When did that start? In Clinton era? Or was it Bush?
401ks, I want to say it was the 80s.
Was it the 80s?
Early 80s, I think, is when they started to do that.
But it wasn't very... There was a big switch, though.
I don't know when.
.com boom era?
Don't know. But, when a company has to put all that money into a pension to pay for employees who retire, all that money is no longer going to the CEO.
Right.
It's going into the pension program. The CEO is at that lower level of income.
Yeah, still making a very good...
Yeah. But I mean, the disparity, I think, would have been less even today if we still had all the pension programs.
Yeah, I agree.
Where I'm not having to pay for all of that.
And you wouldn't have employees leaving a job every 2 years, job hopping to get a rate wage increase.
It's even the military. The military now no longer has a pension.
Yeah, that's insane.
And we're voluntary.
Insane.
Which I don't understand.
I don't know how the heck they got Congress to play along. Well, I guess I know how. Just politicians are scumbags, and they probably cut a deal for something. Yeah, there's no way I would join the military now as a career.
Yeah, what are you going to get out of it?
Yeah, nothing. A broken back and no money. Yeah.
I served my country. I'm proud.
Right.
Okay.
Good. Now, go raise your family. Go start your life. Go to college when you're 30, like me.
Yeah, so now it's just another job.
It is, yeah.
The only difference is you're under contract.
Right.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah, UCMJ instead of civilian law. Yeah, so what are you doing? Are we having these conversations with our children, our young men that we're raising? Like, do you talk to your son about if you only had a year left to live, what would you do?
I've never asked him that question yet. We just brought it up this past week. But we do have questions and conversations about the future.
Like, how are you setting yourself up now to get to transition out of the military? And
right. If he and I would happen to get in a conversation, he talks about the money he spent on something. I go, you need to be careful on the money you're spending. Or are you putting some of your money into savings? You got where are you at on your TSP?
Yeah.
Your military equivalent of the 401k. How much money are you putting into that?
And that TSP has a pretty good rate of return.
It does.
It's decent, but it's not the same as a pension. It's just like it doesn't feel as secure. But so your son, I mean, he's listening now. He's been. How long has he been in the Marine Corps?
6 years.
6 years. Is he still contemplating his future in the Corps?
I don't know. Well, he still is.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes on quite frequently.
Yeah.
He'll have to come up with a decision when he hits his final year.
Yeah.
Whether he's going to move forward or not.
When the window opens up.
They'll demand all that at that point.
Yeah. Go to Warrant Officer School.
So, I don't even know if he wants to do that anymore.
Well,
but if you come down to, if you take out the who am I, where are you going to be in a year, think about it in a different format. And if you stripped everything away from you, and all you have is you.
Mm.
Are you happy with yourself? Can you say, honestly, this is who I am, and this is how I'm going to stay. Where am I going to change?
Mm.
And at that point, it has nothing to do with possessions,
No.
or not even your health, really.
Yeah.
There was you and I were working on a 10-question deal.
Oh yeah. I left
part of the
I
week.
left it at work.
And one of the questions, let me get to it. How would I describe, it was just a basic question. How would I describe myself? And the way you had to answer the question, you had to start with positive.
5 positives, right?
Right. And it's words only.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to explain it. Just what are the 5
words.
things?
Mm-hmm.
These are the 5 things I wrote about myself.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be like a quick answer type deal, like you're on a timeline, 30 seconds or whatever. I wrote listener, integrity, eternal optimist, steadfast, and natural leader. Those were the ones I listed as top 5.
Yeah.
Now, when I go back to those top 5 and actually pay attention to what I was writing about, nothing there says finance. Nothing there says job. Nothing there says health.
Yeah.
That's who I define myself as.
Mm-hmm.
The negatives were a little bit different. Negatives were procrastinate, self-destructive, melancholy, blunt. And I put lonely with a question mark because that wasn't the right word. I was trying to come up with a word that it's not lonely or being alone. It's I think it's more along the lines of dealing with situations on your own, like a oneness, or maybe it's
would that be isolated? Like you're purposely.
Could be isolation maybe. It was a hard thing for me to describe. But again, none of these things have anything to do with things or item. They're all, just what you are. How do you react? And the negative, the positive wasn't a big deal. The negative was, because then I took the negative and go, okay, what am I going to do about procrastinating? What am I going to do about being self-destructive, which we talked about last week a little bit, or being melancholy, or blunt. I'm a very blunt person, really, when it comes to how I write emails. And, I don't put a lot of fluff in there. I'm just going to tell you what it is.
Right.
And, sometimes that comes across as being harsh. And do I change myself to appeal to the other person, or do I adapt myself with what those are and just make myself stronger? Is it about me? Is it about the people around me? And when you take that step forward, then you're dealing with something called criticism or critics. And what are you going to do with it? Or are you afraid to take a step forward because suddenly you're afraid of a critical remark or the criticism of others? And should you worry about that or not?
Yeah. I guess it really is are you comfortable with who you are as well? Would give you confidence in that area. Like, I understand that I'm a generally kind person, but at times I can be very mean. So I have like these 2 battling forces that I'm very loyal, but I will cut off a relationship very quickly if I see like, hey, this relationship has no value or some sort of negative value, and it's not good, so I'm just going to cut it off instead of working on it or even voicing how I feel about that relationship. I'll just be like, I'm never going to talk to them again for the rest of my life.
Yeah. But even as we're talking, it is not easy to answer these questions.
No.
I mean, I still don't have the answers.
No. Yeah, I had the words. I wrote the words down, but then I go back and read them. I'm like, okay, that just came off the top of my head. Now let me think about it, really.
Yeah.
Like, I can be, I have like a servant. I love to serve. I'm a servant, right? But at the same time, I can be very selfish with my time. And so why is that? Am I guarding myself against burnout, or am I just selfish? maybe that's something I need to work on.
Yeah. Or are we somehow having a fear of missing out?
Yeah.
Missing out on what? Yeah. Missing out on time alone?
Right.
We've got plenty of opportunity for that.
Yeah. But then wasn't the next question, what would your friends say about you?
No.
What words would your friends use to describe you? Something like that?
No, it wasn't. It was, hang on, I gotta go back to it. Oh, mama.
I keep reaching out for this glass of whiskey and then pulling my hand back.
I just pushed it out of the way. No, the next question after that was, well, where am I? That was question 1. Question 2 was, how do I want to ideally describe myself?
Oh, okay.
Question 3 was, what am I really struggling with at the moment?
Mm-hmm.
Question 4, what am I really interested in? And question 5, what do I do outside of my work that invigorates me?
That was hard for me.
6, what is the quality of my relationship with people?
Oh, I wrote, I have very few relationships with people, but they are all of a high quality. So I have like a small circle of friends.
Yes. And in 7, what kind of people do I want to be with or around, and why? 8 was, who and what inspires you? Unfortunately, out of my list of who and what inspires you, I had one living person out of all the others that I had listed.
Dude, I don't think I had any. Oh, no, I did. I actually did. I had 2 living.
And then the last 2 questions were, how do you want people to see you and to remember you? And how do I want to contribute to the people around me? So the questions are all about you.
Yeah.
And taking a deep dive on you. They weren't easy. And, there's something to still work on.
It is. I kept that questionnaire on my desk at work, and I would glance over it from time to time and add something, or just think about something and write it down in my journal.
Yeah. And you know what? If you get stressed, if you're really stressed over just trying to work those questions out, then take Jesse Ventura's advice, and I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah.
and just keep moving through life and just making yourself better.
That's it. Yeah. Like we talked about in the show before, 1% better every day, or, walking the path. Just don't focus on the end. Just walk your path, man. You're going to get there.
It doesn't always require a deep dive. I'm a naturally self-reflective person. So these kinds of exercises I like doing.
Yeah.
I don't always enjoy them, but I like them.
Yeah. Like I told you before, I'm going through a season of spiritual growth right now. I feel that, I'm really growing in my faith and starting to think about, what am I doing with my life? Is this God's will, what I'm doing? What am I using the gifts that God gave me? Am I squandering things that, or maybe God wants me to just stop and enjoy life instead of worrying about his will and what I'm supposed to be doing. And maybe God's just saying, hey bro, take a breath. You can smile, you can relax and be happy.
Yeah.
So those are things I think about quite often when I'm doing my, walking around work, just in between buildings and talking to people. I find myself in prayer often throughout the day, which I'm grateful for. I like it. It's been great time of growth for me, and I'm optimistic about the future.
Right.
When I think about who am I, or what am I leaving behind for my family, I'm not breaking out in sweat thinking about it. I'm just get the motor running and, okay, man, let's get this plan in place. Let's start focusing on step 1. And what do I need to do? This is what I need to do to achieve that goal. That small little micro goals, man. That's kind of the way I look at it. This podcast has been great. It's had great conversations, and we seem to have more conversations off the microphone than we do here. And we always wish, like, dang, we should have just recorded that. But I think those are good. And I hope and pray that other men listening to the show can have that kind of relationship with somebody where they can just sit. You know, you and I spend a weird amount of time together because we work together, and
Right.
you know, your office is 20 feet from mine, and so we do. You know, we see each other 6 days a week. It was 7 days a week until I switched churches.
Yeah,
which is strange, but so I hope other guys can have the same thing in their life, and you know, maybe one day we'll just invite some dudes over for the fire pit. You know, people listen to the show if they're in the area. Women too, I guess, if they want to come along.
why?
I don't know.
You got to stop with that, man.
I just threw it out there. That wasn't a true invitation, ladies.
You know, one of the self-reflective ways to improve that I called out on myself that I finally realized is throughout my life, I have started 7 separate businesses. And, you know, all of them have gone away. And I finally realized that the entrepreneur mindset, that is not me. So stop stressing over the fact that I'm not an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be an entrepreneur. Try not to start another business. Put that worry and all that anxiety that I had in that, put it all in my job and just do well at my job and let that, you know, flourish.
Yeah.
That's been, you know, that's an example of working these things out.
Right. Or like we've talked about where we walk out of a meeting and we're shaking our heads a little bit and kind of frustrated or whatever. And we're like, yeah, well, you know, it is what it is.
You can't care more than the person above you.
Very true. Yeah, I've actually started to say something to people before at work, and then I realize, hey man, this is not your clown, not your, what is it? Not your circus, not your clowns. And I'll just stop and I'll be like, you know what, man? I wish you luck. That's a tough that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Let me know if you need anything.
Right.
Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
I got my own problems, man.
Need somebody to listen?
Yeah.
Come talk to me.
Yep. And I'll give you feedback if you want it, but most of that I'll just listen. And like I said with my wife, we'll have that. I'll say, do you want me to just sit and listen to you and so you can be heard, or do you want me to try to help you? And usually it's just like, oh, I just need to vent and be heard. Okay, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, ooh, that's tough. Yeah, I can't believe she said that. My wife rarely does that. What else? What else are you, do you have any other areas in your life that you're focusing on now? Like, it seems like a lot of our conversations for the past month have been like, what are we doing here? And that's kind of like what's been on my mind. Like, why am I here on this earth right now? Why am I standing where I'm standing right now? What am I doing with the podcast? What am I doing with work? What am I doing at home? Why are we doing this? And
the why am I here question is interesting only because I shouldn't even be having that discussion with myself. It's taken so much energy away from just is my life.
Just live.
Yeah. You know, why do I have to make something out of nothing? Why am I trying to do something different than I am? This is who I am.
Yeah.
So embrace it, enjoy it,
that kind of goes
thrive
back to
on it.
What I said, like, I'm praying, like, God, what's your will? What do you want me to do? And God's like, dude, you're there. Like, you're like, you're right there where I want you. If I didn't want you there, you'd be somewhere else doing something. You know? Like, oh, okay. Right.
You're looking for something to do. Really? I just, I gimped out your wife on a bike trail. So that way you can give her the attention she needs to take care of her.
Right.
Oh, so that's where I'm supposed to focus.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just part of life. I didn't know you meant in the house, not outside the house. I mean, it's those. I don't know. I don't know why my brain does that. I'm always thinking that way. It's like,
well, we're always our worst critics, right?
Yeah.
And I tend to beat myself up a lot over things in my past that keep, I'm like, man, if only I would have done this, I could have been. And then I'll just literally in my brain tell myself, shut the F up. Stop it. Just, dude, quit looking back.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is. Maybe it's because I went to Catholic school, maybe. I don't know. No, that's a cop-out. Yeah, I think
it could be my self-destructive behavior.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like if we have something in your life that you enjoy, then it could turn into something dark and self-destructive. Like we talked about with whiskey when we were talking about the bourbon on the show. You know, it's a fire that you have to keep contained. You know, you can enjoy something, then you could definitely over-enjoy, and then it becomes destructive.
I think where I need to pay attention is when I become obsessive. If I start to obsess with something.
Yeah.
The signals are always there. It's whether or not you are self-aware enough to pick up on it.
Sure.
Or you have someone who is smart enough or open enough in a relationship with you to say, you know what? Are you sure you're going on the right path?
Man, I'd be a rich man if I had $100 for every time Caitlin said that to me. Like, are you sure you're in the right frame of mind on this?
Yeah.
Are you thinking this? Like, because I will get obsessed in a heartbeat, and I will get laser focused, and usually it's very unhealthy.
You know, that's one of my favorite books of the Bible, is Ecclesiastes, because it speaks to man for who and what he is. Eat, drink, and be merry. You know, this is your lot. You know, love God. And, you know, those are the things. And, you know, you have 6 or 8 chapters of a book in the Bible that expands on that very thought. And, you know, I lean back on that one quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah, that is a good point. Like maybe when we're too much in our heads, and that could be self-destructive. Then you should go to the Bible for those answers. You know, there's a lot of stuff that me and my wife talk about, and I'll say, you know what? I don't really know. Let's see what the Bible says about it. Because I don't know everything. And a lot of times my initial gut reaction could be wrong. Yeah. What else you got? You want to rate this whiskey?
Before I waste my time on a rating, what happened today in 1765?
Today in 1765, November 1st, was the day the Stamp Act went into effect.
That's right.
In the British colonies.
Do you understand the significance of the Stamp Act?
That triggered the revolution.
It was one of the igniters. Yeah.
I don't know if it was the straw that broke the camel back, but it really did it. The Sons of Liberty, did that movement start after the Stamp Act?
They were formed as a result of the Stamp Act.
Yeah.
Yep. And so think about the people who were part of the Sons of Liberty.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Sam Adams, John Hancock, Paul Revere.
Thomas Paine, was he one?
I think so. There's a big list.
Yeah.
And all those guys were, you know, crucial to the revolution in the early days. And, you know, the Stamp Act was the very first direct tax on the colonies. And that's where the concept of taxation without representation came about.
Right.
Because that's what actually made Ben Franklin popular. He was not really popular on the political spectrum, only as on the scientist side or as a newspaperman.
Yeah, he started writing the Screw Tape letters, right? I think that's what he wrote. But it was
that was C.S. Lewis.
Oh. Yeah, I'm thinking of something else.
But he was a U.S. or a colonial representative in London at the time. And after the Stamp Act, he was actually a supporter of the Stamp Act when it was passed. and he was in London, and then he learned that how
silence do good.
Oh yeah, silence do good.
Yeah.
He learned how much the people in the colonies resisted and did not like it. So he switched his allegiance away from the Stamp Act to oppose it.
Mm.
And he was actually called as a representative before Parliament and had to answer questions over a 4-hour period in which he protested the Stamp Act.
Wow.
Actually gained much respect on both sides of the ocean at that point as a result of that interrogation and before Parliament. And then they ended up repealing it a year later. So it lasted a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it put a tax on every formal document. So if you wrote a letter, it didn't. But every sheet of newspaper, every will, bond, shipping document, even playing cards and dice had the Stamp Act.
Dang. And now today, everything is taxed.
And we don't even think about it.
We don't even think about it. We even have there's a luxury tax, and then there's a, what do they call that tax for, like, tourism? They had it in this little town that I was a firefighter in.
Oh, they have it here in St. Charles.
There's basically just a tourist tax.
It's a tourist tax.
Yeah, and it's just a way to steal more money from people.
Yep.
But we're taxed on everything. Everything.
Yeah. And we're like freaking sheep to slaughter. We just walk in, we moo like a bunch of cows right up to the voting booth and go, "It's for the roads. It's for the children."
More roads. Yeah. How would we pay for the education system? And oh man. Try not to get too worked up.
Yeah. No, we'll have our tax show.
Two things are certain: death and taxes. Right?
Anyway, so back to this rogue spirits thing.
Dude. All right, let me take one more. Let's see if it's changed as it's sat here.
Good luck.
Ooh.
Nope.
Man, how can a whiskey taste like tuna? That's insane.
It's so odd.
Oh, no stars. -1 star.
I've never said I'd go half stars before, but if I had to stay on the positive side, it's a half star. That's about it.
Dude, 0. I didn't even get, like, I wrote nose, funky gem shoes, taste, tuna, ? And I didn't even put finish on because there is no finish. The finish is tuna. It's and then it's gone.
Right. Salt,
yeah, like briny. What's that? What's the water when you have fresh water mixed with salt water? It tastes like Charleston smells when you're getting down to the salt flats. That's kind of what it is. Like
it's dirty laundry. If no one understands what we're trying to say, just get your laundry in the basket, stick your head down in it.
Smell it, take a big whiff.
And there you go. That's your dirty laundry.
Dirty socks, man.
It's gross.
Yeah, this is really nasty. But only in America.
It's all part of learning.
Yeah, you got to have the good with the bad, man. So let's finish this up. And thank you for bringing the beer and the whiskey, Kevin. If anybody has a suggestion of something we should taste, you can email us at showmemk@gmail.com. You said the Facebook page is growing. Our followers on Facebook are growing, right?
Yes. Yep. I even got a notification from Facebook today about the growth. So that's
cool.
Good to hear.
So, continue to follow on Facebook. If you are listening to the show and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Hit the like button. Leave some comments. Tell us where you're from, how you found us. We would appreciate that on Spotify. And I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Have a great week, everybody. We hope we got your mind going on some good, thoughtful conversations you should be having with yourself or your loved ones. And if you want to be on the show, come tell your story. We'd love to have you. Just send us an email, and we'll be right back in contact with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We'll see you later.
Peace out.